Welcome viewers, it is the part 3 of renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system. In previous part 1 and 2, we discussed the release of the renin. In this part, we'll discuss the functions of the angiotensin 2. Angiotensin 2 receptors are present on the arteriolar smooth muscles as well as on the venular smooth muscles. When angiotensin 2 work on the venous smooth muscles, veins constrict. Here I would like to say something that the veins contains the 70% of the total blood volume. So the veins are called the capacitance vessels or the vascular component with the highest capacity. Pressure in the veins will go up. Blood will rush towards the left heart. It means cardiac filling is more. Cardiac filling means the venous return is more. If the venous return is more, then cardiac filling is more, then the end diastolic volume is more. When the end diastolic volume is more, then obviously end diastolic pressure will also be more. According to the Frank-Starling law, more you stretch the ventricle, more it contract within the physiological limits. According to the Frank-Starling law, if you stretch more the ventricle, more it will contract within the physiological limits. Preload on the heart is more. Preload on the heart is more. What is preload? Preload is basically the amount of the blood in which it produces the contractions. If the preload is more, stroke volume will be more. If the stroke volume will be more, then cardiac output will be more. If the cardiac output will be more, then the systolic blood pressure will be increased. Now, come to the next, angiotensin 2 when work on the arteriolar smooth muscles. In other words, angiotensin 2 when work on the arterioles. If the arterioles are become very narrow during systole, when lot of blood will come here, can it easy to move to the venous side? Can it easy to, if these are constricted, can it easy to move towards the venous side? No, because these are constricted one. So even if heart is not pumping, because after the systole heart will undergo relaxation, there is an onset of the diastole. During the diastole, aortic valve closes, blood cannot go back. The only choice for the blood is to move or rush to the capillary side or venous side. Capillary side or the venous side. Now, if the arterioles are open too much, most of the blood move forward and pressure in the diastole will fall. If the arterioles are open, these arterioles are open, too much blood move forward and the pressure in the diastole will fall. If the arterioles are become too narrow, the blood present over here, the blood present during the diastole cannot easily move to venous side. It is the venous side. Does not easily move to the venous side, and pressure in the arteriolar tree during the diastole will be increases. We say that the blood pressure, particularly diastolic blood pressure, increases, means total peripheral resistance. If the constriction is over here, then the total peripheral resistance will be increased and the diastolic blood pressure will be increased at this arteriolar site. Angiotensin II will also go to the cells of the zona glomerulosa. It is the zona glomerulosa. It is present on the adrenal cortex. Zona glomerulosa also have receptors called the angiotensin II receptors. When angiotensin II work on the zona glomerulosa start release the substance that is called aldosterone. Aldosterone. What are the functions of the aldosterone? Aldosterone act on the principal cells of the nephron. These are the principal cells of the nephron. Of the collecting tubules, it is the collecting tubule. Aldosterone throws sodium from the cytosol into the interstitium, and from interstitium into the circulation. Sodium and water retained in the blood, blood volume increases, venous return increases, cardiac ventricular filling increases, ventricular contractility increases, and obviously systolic blood pressure increases. Angiotensin II will go to the CNS. This angiotensin II also go to the CNS. Work on the receptors present on the, and this angiotensin work on the receptors present on the hypothalamus, and they will activate action potential. They will activate the action potential, which will reach to the posterior pituitary and stimulates the super optic nucleus. Stimulate the super optic nucleus. Come over here. The super optic nucleus is also present over here, present on the hypothalamus. Stimulate the posterior pituitary. These are the angiotensin II receptors present over here. From the posterior pituitary, ADH is released. ADH act on the collecting tubule. Here is the collecting tubule. Here, the functions are written over here. Basically, it acts on this collecting tubule, which is present in the medulla of the kidney. And you know well, medullary interstitium is hyperosmolar, lumen is hypoosmolar. Water move from hypoosmolar to the hyperosmolar area. Water will rush through the cells into the interstitium. As we discussed the osmolarity concept in the diuretics, water will rush through the cells into the interstitium and into the circulation, and obviously as the water is rushing into the circulation, the blood volume will increase, venous return will increase, cardiac filling will increase, contractility will increase, stroke volume will increase, cardiac output will increase, and systolic blood pressure will also increase. Angiotensin II receptors is a super stimulator of the sympathetic nervous system. sympathetic nervous system. If the sympathetic nervous system work on the veins, if this sympathetic nervous system work on the veins, what will happen? Increase venous constriction. Work on these veins, increase venous constriction. Venous constriction, cardiac filling increases, contractility increases, cardiac output increases, stroke volume increases, and obviously systolic blood pressure increases. Here is the systolic blood pressure, as we already discussed. The systolic blood pressure increases. Another thing, if angiotensin receptors, as we already said, these are the superstimulator of the sympathetic nervous system. If the sympathetic nervous system work on the arterioles, these are the arterioles, increase arterial constriction means increase total peripheral resistance, and obviously diastolic blood pressure increases. When sympathetic activity increases, the point to be noted, when the sympathetic activity increases, increase in the norepinephrine release. It is the increase in the norepinephrine release. Sympathetic activity is going increases. Obviously, the norepinephrine will release also. Release in the renin will also be, release of the renin will also be increased, because the norepinephrine is also increasing and just stimulating the baroreceptor over here in the juxtaglomerulus apparatus, and they will release the renin. Whole system is amplified. Whole system is amplified. Angiotensin II also has receptors on the CNS third system. Another important thing I would like to tell you over here. Angiotensin II also has receptors on the CNS third system. Patient, if the patient is bleeding, he will feeling thirst. Obviously, if you have it, if you give him, it will increase the blood volume. It will definitely increase the blood volume. So the patient who is suffering met an accident and lot of bleeding is happened, then he definitely give the intravenous infusions to increase the blood volume. Some important informations are also I would like to add over here. There are diseases in which the blood to the kidney is chronically low. These diseases are, for example, congestive heart failure. If the congestive heart failure has a very poor, in the congestive heart failure, very poor output, and blood flow to the every organ including kidney is low. In these patients, sympathetic stimulation is chronically activated. There is a chronic RAS, renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system activation. If angiotensin II is chronically increased, then both angiotensin II and aldosterone work on the myocardium and change the morphology of the heart. Listen carefully. If the angiotensin II is chronically increased, aldosterone is chronically increased, both angiotensin II and aldosterone work on the myocardium and change the morphology of the heart. All the myocardial cells produces the growth factors. These growth factors produced by the myocardium work on the myocardial cell. So, myocardial cell undergo the hypertrophy. What will be happen if the growth factor produce the myocardium to work on the myocardial cells by the release of the angiotensin II and the aldosterone? Both of these are change the morphology of the heart. What kind of morphology will be changed? They will cause the hypertrophy. That is, what is hypertrophy? That is a change in the geometry of the heart. It is also called the cardiac remodeling. It is also called cardiac remodeling. That is all about the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system, and hopefully you will enjoy this concept. And it is the last version of the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system. It was the last video, and hopefully you enjoyed. Please stay tuned for the more videos about the medical informations and the medical of the drug and the physiology and the pharmacology. Thank you so much.